Hey, I'm Olivia,
And hey, I'm Dad.
and you're listening to Soarin' Around WDW. Happy Hauntings, flight crew. The time is finally here to celebrate Halloween. We are going to go through the changes that have happened at Mickey's Not So Scary this year, what unique offerings it provided from a regular park day, as well as a brief history of this event and some of our favorite memories from the half a dozen times that we have attended. Regan and I did do an episode on this last year. It was episode 13 of the podcast, where we gave a lot of history, but also some tips and tricks from our experiences with the party. I will link it in the show notes so that y'all can refer back to that one. So, a little bit of background for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This party began as a single night event on October 31st, 1995, at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, with the price initially for just $16.95 per person, which is so hard to believe. There were not any special parades or fireworks at this original party, but the Headless Horseman did make an appearance. Now, if y'all listened last week to our episode about the villains, you heard us talk about how I have our original ticket from when we went back in the early 2000s, and the price was still only, I said 29.95, right? Is that what I said last week, or
Yes,
19.95? 29.95.
29.95.
Okay. Yes. So it has obviously significantly increased in the years, as we talked about last week, but 16.95 per person is quite the steal even in 1995. This was a special hard ticketed event that obviously grew in popularity, expanding to multiple nights by 1997 due to high demand for its family-friendly Halloween activities such as trick-or-treating, the Boo to You parade, and Hollow Wishes fireworks. The event was created in part to offer a less frightening Halloween experience compared to events like Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, which actually began first in 1991. Its popularity, the Mickey's Not So Scary popularity, led to expansion, with the party occurring then on two nights in 1997, three nights in 1999, and continuing to grow to 15 nights by 2005. The popular Boo to You and Hallowishes fireworks were introduced by 2005. The event originally featured the Disney Villains Mix and Mingle stage show, which was replaced in 2015 by the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, starring the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. A similar event happened at Disneyland called Mickey's Halloween Treat, and that was held from 1995 to 1996, returning in 2005 to Disney's California Adventure, where the annual party was renamed Mickey's Trick or Treat Party in 2008. The event then moved back to Disneyland 2 years later in 2010 as Mickey's Halloween Party. And then in 2019, the event went back to Disney California Adventure again, where it has stayed and has been retitled as Oogie Boogie Bash. So Disneyland has obviously had a lot of changes, bouncing back and forth between the two parks of where the party would be. They also seem to now have a lot of just Halloween offerings at Disneyland during a regular ticketed day versus Oogie Boogie Bash, which is that special ticketed event, versus Magic Kingdom, that really is the ticketed event, is where you have to go to get all of the special food items, which we'll talk about, the shows, the parade. None of that is during the regular ticketed park days. So obviously, we've talked about this show a lot over the episodes of, or this event over the episodes of the show, just briefly in different stories that we've shared throughout the year and a half of this podcast being out. But Dad, tell everybody, how many times have you attended Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, do you think? And when was your most recent attendance of the party?
Well, I think we attended it a few times when we first moved to Florida, when we went and got our costumes and stuff from that one costume place in Bradenton.
Yeah.
So I think a total, I try to count, I think a total was about 8 times that I've been to that party in the last 25 years.
Okay. And when was the most recent time that you went? What year was the last time that you guys went?
2019 is right before COVID hit. We dressed up in our pirate garb one more time, my wife and I, and my granddaughter Michaela, and we ate at the Liberty Tree Tavern, and it was all it was fun. It was overcrowded, but it was fun.
Okay, yeah. And before that, had it been quite a few years before you had been in between 2019 and your visit before that? Probably at least five, right?
Yeah, we went as the pirate crew with the pirate stroller when Mikala was a little like a 2-year-old in 2011, 12, 13, and 14, doing the pirate thing over and over again because we had so much fun with it. And then 2019, and then that's it. I haven't been back since, but and I'd definitely like to go again.
Okay, yeah. So I obviously went when we were kids. I know we went a couple of times with mom, then once I remember with Doreen because funny story, we went to Mickey's Not So Scary on a school night, and then the next morning we were late to school by like, I don't know, not late, 15, 30 minutes when I was a freshman in high school. I was supposed to cheer that night and they were sticklers and they wouldn't let us cheer because we were out late and we came like 15 to 30 minutes late to school. It was ridiculous. Our person was a special, our little attendance lady was a special lady. But anyway, so yeah, I will never forget that my freshman year, and I wore my cheerleading uniform to the party that year. I actually found a picture of this last night. Regan was dressed as a stormtrooper, and when I went back and re-listened to Regan and I's episode, Regan said like often he wore some kind of similar to kind of what you were talking about last week on the podcast, where you wore some kind of outfit with a mask with a strap. Regan kind of wore that same thing. He was Darth Vader one year in like full black, and then he was a stormtrooper one year in like full white with the stormtrooper mask. And I think one year maybe he did Frankenstein or something. Maybe that was just for regular Halloween, but it was often so hot that by the time he got into the park, he's like ripping everything off and like didn't even want to wear it because it can get pretty toasty. But then I also attended in college twice with Maddie. One year we were Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. The next year we were Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. And then we've brought the girls twice. Once when Blake was only 10 weeks old, and then once when Eiley and Blake, well, Eiley was still obviously there when Blake was 10 weeks old. The next year, Blake was just a little over one. So that would have been 2023. So we did not go last year, and we're not going this year. Obviously, as this episode comes out, it'll be almost Halloween, but hoping to get back at some point. Like we talked about last week, the expense is a little bit of a hindrance for what it is right now. But Dad, what was always the first thing that you would do when you would get into the party?
I have to think about that for a minute. We always took advantage of the 4 o'clock get in the door time
Yeah.
because the party didn't start, I think, till 7, and you could gain 3 hours. You're mixed in with all the other guests, but you got a chance to. I think a lot of times we'd go eat something, get our dinner. Sometimes we'd grab Liberty Tree Tavern, or if not, maybe a quick service, Pecos Bill or something like that, just to get some food because we knew it was going to be a long day. And there weren't anything really Halloween going on at that point. So that's typically what we do. Going at 4, kind of the early entry thing, and get some food, and then get ready to start, doing the trick or treat thing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point about being able to get in at four. The last two times that we did it when the kids were young, it was so stinking hot, and we went in August. I think the first time with Blake it was September, the second time was August, so it was even hotter than October, unfortunately. Not by much. I mean, October's still pretty hot. And standing out there in that sun at 4 o'clock in our costumes, I was like, oh my gosh, why do we do this? But then it really does cool off. And once it's dark in the park and it gets a little less crowded, it's still pretty crowded, but less crowded, it ends up being a nice night usually most of the time. I couldn't remember, was there ever a time that we got rained out or had really bad rain? I can't recall ever having a year where we had to deal with bad weather. We got kind of lucky there, I think.
There's one time that I went, I think when we did the pirate thing, might have been the last year we did it, 2014, I think. Right toward the end of the party, it started to rain and it kind of flushed everybody out of there, including us.
Yeah.
But it was already the fireworks were already over. We already saw the parade. I think the parade runs twice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that was over. But that's the only time. Other time we've had great weather. But you're right. If you go before October, and even October can be brutal. But August, I can't even imagine going in August for that heat humidity. But you got to do what you got to do. That's when you can go, and the prices are less. than they are as you head through October, right? It starts going up and up and up. So um,
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the price is definitely a big piece of that there for sure. But yeah, occasionally I've heard of people getting rained out of the event or them having to totally cancel, but it's pretty rare. I mean, unless it's really bad lightning or really bad rain, like hurricane rain, tropical storm rain, they usually keep it going and sometimes you have to find a little place to hide. But overall, we've been pretty lucky over the years with not getting rained out. So, how would you describe the atmosphere at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party to someone who's never been to the party before?
Well, I know you're a big Halloween person. I like Halloween. I like the kind of the simple side of it. That's why I like the Disney side of it so much.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, it's fun because when you go in, especially if you go in maybe pushing more toward the 7 o'clock time versus walking in at 4, they're in some places they're kicking out the fog machine a little bit and they're playing the music. You
Yeah.
walk in, you go get your wristband and they give you your candy bag, that you can carry around. And certain places, the Haunted Mansion, they've had a storyteller, a ghostly storyteller out there in the lawns, telling
Yeah.
ghostly stories. I don't know that's there in August, but I know in October when we used to go, I thought that was neat. But the Haunted Mansion, that's kind of a different feel. They're kicking out a lot of uh, using the smoke machines and getting the fog going, and the music's kind of playing all through the park. Yeah, and the characters are dressed in their Halloween, Mickey and Minnie and all the different characters, a lot of them have a Halloween costume on, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that kind of fits. So yeah, it's a real kind of old fashioned kind of Halloween, and that really works for me. First couple of times we went, I was always kind of in awe, like, okay, this is really cool. Right, one of our favorite places probably in the country, right, that we like to go to.
Yeah.
And then you can go trick or treating is another holiday we really like. And then it's not again Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. It's not that. If you want that, you can find that in a lot of different places, even Busch Gardens. But it's just a simpler, like I said, not so scary Halloween party really fits because that's kind of the way it is. But it still has a lot of charm to it too, and kind of an old fashioned feel, which is again, is what I really was drawn to. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I agree. I think the family friendly aspect and having something a little different than Howlow Scream at Busch Gardens or Halloween Horror Nights at, Universal Studios and even some parks when you go like across the country do like spooky, scary corn maze type things. And so it's just something different that's fun to do with the family and still fun, different, get to dress up and have candy. And I remember as a kid, yeah, it's like the ultimate. My favorite holiday, getting to dress up, going to Disney and getting free candy. I mean, not free, obviously you pay for it, but comes with the ticket. It's a pretty cool experience, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So which of the special entertainment offerings would be your favorite? Is it the Boo to You parade, the fireworks, or I don't know if you've seen the Hocus Pocus stage show or any of the stage
Yeah.
shows. Which one would you say is the best out of this party offering, or what do you think about each of these things?
Oh, the Hocus Pocus stage show I thought was very good. Uh, I love the movie. It's a great movie. Doreen
Yeah.
loves it. Michaela, we watched it together a few times. It's a good movie. So the stage show, they had some great professionals up there playing the Three Witches that were really pretty impressive. So it's a great stage show. If you like that sort of thing, it's worth taking a little time to see one of those stage shows and they're very well attended. People just pile in there to see that because it's been a popular thing over the years. Um,
Yeah.
and then the fireworks are great. That's the first time I've seen the fireworks do a 180 where they're shooting almost 180 degrees around the park of different buildings and things. That's the first time I ever saw that because I guess other holidays, maybe Fourth of July, they go all the way around the park. They have these different fireworks from what I've seen on YouTube and what I've read. So that was neat. But there's something about that crazy parade that I just love.
Yeah.
And I and I guess I'm a Haunted Mansion guy, so in the Haunted Mansion, uh, the hitchhiking ghosts go by in their float, which they seem like they have that every year, or the grave scraping their shovels and the sparks flying up. The
Yeah.
headless horseman, are you kidding me? The headless horseman, how cool is that? That alone is worth the ticket
Oh
ticket
yeah.
price. Because how just to have that walking, it used to gallop. I guess there was a problem with them galloping because someone else got run over or something one year. So now he's just kind of trotting along. But to me, that just what a way to set the tone of that parade and the night. have the Headless Horseman go through. So really, for me, it's got to be the Boo to You parade with that crazy song that's in your head for like a month after you hear it. I could go through the whole song in my head right now, and I haven't even heard it in 5 years. So it's a catchy song. All the characters are there. I think it's just very well done, and that's one parade for me that just never gets old. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the parade is just incredible. It's definitely my favorite thing. I think the fireworks are cool. Obviously, now in the more recent years, they've started to do projections on the castle with the fireworks of different Halloween stuff. And there's obviously the This Is Halloween, very popular Nightmare Before Christmas song that plays throughout a lot of it. But the parade itself is just so good. I agree. There's a lot of floats that are repeats, which is fun because they're usually the best ones, like Haunted Mansion, you said, the Grave Diggers. But then they do add new things from year to year. The one float, I think I talked about this maybe in the other podcast episode when we did this last year, but the one float that I don't understand why they keep around is the clucking chicken that comes by in the barn. I don't know if you know what I'm
Thank
talking
you,
about.
thank you. Get rid of the clucking chicken. I don't. I could never figure that out. She's clucking.
Yes.
She's clucking to the song. Like come
Yeah,
on.
it's so weird. I don't know what that's about or why they've kept it around. One of our friends, the Backlot Tours podcast, they recently did something that's called like things that live rent free in your head from Disney. And for whatever reason, that clucking chicken often pops into my head and how she just is clucking to the song. And Eiley got such a kick out of that the last time. She thought it was hilarious, but I'm like, why is they could do anything else with this float? Get rid of the clucking chicken. That's the one thing that I agree that could go. So the parade is offered two times a night, as we said. So usually it's about 8:15 and then 11:15. The fireworks are usually somewhere in between there.
That was like 10 o'clock or
Yeah,
something, maybe. Or
10 o'clock. Yep.
yeah.
And then, so the fireworks are usually at 10 o'clock, and then the Hocus Pocus stage show is usually offered 2 to 3 times a night, I think, kind of depending on the night and the schedule for the year. But my recommendation, if your kids can hang, is go on rides during the first parade, catch the fireworks, and then watch the later parade. Our favorite spot the last few times we've went is kind of right across from the Christmas shop. There's actually like a bench area that you can sit kind of near the DVC little member stop over there near the Hall of Presidents. And it's a great spot because it's usually not crazy crowded. It's not right at the start or right at the finish on Main Street or in Frontierland. And so, you get a pretty good view. Where did we do that? We always kind of have been in Frontierland for that, right, Dad, for the most part? Or did we ever do Main Street?
Yeah. Every time. Yeah, I stayed away from Main Street. I like the feel of the Frontierland with the Halloween.
Yeah.
The Ichabod Crane, that whole feeling that you get in that area. And we were right around the Liberty Tree Tavern area there on that side typically.
Yeah.
Most of that. We just went to that area. Sometimes you can grab a chair on the porch of the Liberty Tree Tavern. There's some chairs along there where you can actually sit down for a while because sometimes you have to wait for 30 minutes for the parade to start. So yeah, it's yeah, we've never gone on Main Street. I've always stayed away from Main Street on any of the parades over the years. I've always tried to go to different locations that aren't as quite as busy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's just kind of the way to do it if you can. That's the best way to do it. And then for the fireworks, obviously, because the projections now, it's best if you're kind of somewhere on Main Street near the hub. But honestly, the view from Fantasyland, the back of the castle fireworks is really good too. You're not getting maybe the projection element, but it is a really cool spot to kind of see the fireworks for any of the Magic Kingdom fireworks. Definitely a different perspective. How early would you recommend grabbing a spot for the parade or the fireworks?
Well, again, your idea of going to the second parade is great because a lot of people, after the fireworks, are like, okay, let's go. And they're packing their kids up and getting out of there, right? So
Yeah.
your idea of going on rides during the first parade makes sense because that people just, dump and pile around that parade route. And a lot of those attractions at that time are almost a walk on.
Yeah.
To get ready for the parade, I would allow 30 minutes probably. I know that's tuning into your time, but if you want to get a good seat, 30 minutes and kind of hold your ground because we've had a lot of people try to cut in front of you and do all, you want to be kind, of course, but hold your ground once you get your area because some people are not very nice. And then
Yeah.
fireworks probably similar, probably 15 to 30 minutes, I would say. on a special event night like that because that's just one set of fireworks. There's not two sets of fireworks, so that's pretty well attended if I remember right.
Yeah, yeah. The last time we went, it was pretty crowded. And like you said, a lot of people did the first parade, kind of stayed in place, and then did the fireworks somewhere around Main Street. So getting back through there to find a spot for the fireworks, you don't have to get there quite. So, like, I would say 30 minutes is probably good. But it can get crowded for sure. But I'm not gonna lie, the last time I saw Happily Ever After when in March when we went, it had been a while since I had seen that show. And oh my gosh, was that crowded. So I was like, okay, the Halloween ones feel crowded, but it's not. If you've been to the regular fireworks at Magic Kingdom, it's not quite like that. That was just like a little overwhelming even, especially with all the kids and trying to make sure
Right.
kids don't get lost and all that stuff trampled. But yeah, that's probably good advice about 30 minutes early. And it is like riding the rides while things are kind of, happening for the first parade at the last time we went, Eiley wanted to go on Big Thunder Mountain for the first time, and we went on that thing 3 times in a row. The first time we waited, the second time we got back in line, and then the next time they're like, "Do you want to go around again?" And Eiley's like, "Yeah," and we stayed right on. There was nobody in line, so it was pretty awesome. I mean, she was
Awesome.
like in heaven. And the same thing happened to us on Dumbo. They kind of were like, "You want to get on? You want to just stay on again?" And she was like, "Yeah." So there are still pretty decent like skippable lines and not having to wait so long during the party, even though it is a little more crowded than it used to be. So, do you think, in your opinion, it's worth spending party time on rides or to focus more on the entertainment and exclusive offerings for people who have never been to the party?
Well, it boils down to have you ever been to the party? Have you ever been to the park?
Mm-hmm.
If you've never been to the park, it's like, oh, it's the first time I've been to Disney. You might want to jump on some attractions. Get, if you don't plan on being back there again for a while. So, um, but if you've been to the park before, you kind of, sure you want to catch some rides. Um, you're spending all this money and kind of for a short period of time. So I would try to take in at least one time the parade, the fireworks, the show in front of the castle, do the trick or treat lines, you know, grab a Mickey bar. Well, if you want to grab a Mickey bar after eating all that candy, but
Yeah.
and sit on a bench and take a break and just watch all the people in the costumes go by. And that's
Yeah.
in itself is a lot of fun. Because some of the costumes are pretty elaborate, pretty creative.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we always compliment people. We were saying, "Oh, your costume is awesome," because we see these costumes that are just really clever. So again, if you have been to the Magic Kingdom before and you've gone on the rides already, and sure you can still go on rides, but I would focus on the special events. But if you had never been to the Magic Kingdom, and this is the first time you've been there, and you're incorporating this with a party, you might want to try to grab as many rides as you can, still sneak in a parade, and maybe catch the fireworks from back behind, like you said in Fantasyland or something, and because you can knock out a lot of attractions. I don't think all the attractions are open, if I remember right. A lot of them, not a lot of
Right.
them. Some of them aren't open, but yeah, that's a good way to do it, depending on your situation.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice for sure. What's the coolest costume, or can you think of a couple that were really cool that you've seen people dress up as before?
I've seen a whole group. This was a while ago. They were all dressed in the Haunted Mansion. They were the oh, you thought they were cast members. I'm surprised they let them get away with wearing them, but they were cast member outfits. But then some of them were the hitchhiking ghost, and they had a couple of different people that were in the stretch pictures, like the lady holding the umbrella, the stretch room
Oh,
pictures.
cool.
I mean, there's like 12 of them, and they were all put something from the Haunted Mansion. It was really well. They were standing there getting pictures taken constantly.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
that's that's one of my probably one of my favorites. But yeah, I could go on and on. There's a lot of them that we've seen that are super, just original ones. They don't come to mind right off the top of my head, but they're creative, and they might not have anything to do with Disney. It doesn't have to be a Disney costume. It could be anything within reason, as long as it's not offensive to somebody, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot. One was kind of funny, and we had to laugh. We were in the Buzz Lightyear line. This is, I think, 2019, and one was a woman. It was a girl. She was probably, I don't know, maybe Olivia, she might have been your age. And then the guy behind her was the milkman, and the girl in front of her, the girl was pregnant. It was, oh, the
Oh,
milkman comes
that's
around. It
funny.
was just, it was really funny. It's like, it was just, it wasn't really a Disney costume, but it was just the idea of it. People were just cracking up. They thought, they got everybody just laughing in line, and they tried to figure out, okay, that's what's going on here. It
That
was
is
pretty
funny.
funny. Everyone was rolling laughing, but yeah, but there's a lot of creative costumes. It's worth if you don't dress up, at least check out as you're walking around and in the queues and stuff. Check out the costumes because as you get closer to Halloween, they get more elaborate, more elaborate. I'm sure Halloween night is really over the top.
Yeah, yeah, that's there's been a lot of over the top costumes and I feel like each year that I see people post, I'm like, oh, that's a genius. Who hadn't thought of that before? And then, haven't seen that one before. One of them that I saw a couple of years ago that's now been popular for people to repeat is Princess Mia from Princess Diaries with the big white dress and the glasses, like the movie case with the headphones. And this girl that did it the first time I saw it, she might have not been the first person, but first person I saw to do it in a long time, and she looked just like her. So like that was great. I've seen really realistic like Hercules and Meg from Hercules. Yeah, they're really cool. People are super creative in what they come up with. It's really fun. But the ones that do nods to the park, like you said, Haunted Mansion, when y'all did Pirates, and then I've seen people dress up like even as things like the push trash can somebody dressed up as
Oh
one
yeah.
year and just like different stuff that you're like, okay, about Disney history and that's kind of fun. So yeah, there's some fun costumes for sure. So what would you say is your one of your favorite memories from the parties over the years? Is there anything that sticks out in your mind other than obviously getting to all go together to do the pirates and getting to dress up and do the Black Pearl? Is there anything specifically from the party that you can think of that might be like a favorite memory?
It got to the point where I was pushing these pirate ship stroller because I made it. I don't know if you remember it, but it was very elaborate. I spent
Oh yeah.
weeks making this thing. And Makai was riding in it with her pirate outfit on, and I mean, and she was a little 2 year old, 3 year old girl at the time, and we're all just dressed to the nines. We spent a lot of money on those costumes, but we would get stopped all the time and pose for pictures. It was like you're celebrities.
Oh, that's
And,
funny.
and my stepson David was dressed up, and Regan 1 year too. Maybe he went 2 years, and we're all taking turns pushing the pirate ship because that's the person who got all the attention.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, whoa. And there's a few times where I had to stay with the pirate ship while others had to go get some food or something. And I was just standing there with the pirate ship. I'm dressed like Jack Sparrow, and I didn't look exactly like Jack Sparrow. And I had so many people stopping and cast members taking pictures, and it was really pretty cool. And that went on. We did that 4 years in a row, and I can't believe Disney let us in with that stroller because it wasn't small, but they thought it was a great prop, and they checked it to make sure we weren't carrying any. One guy was actually looking for rum. He says, "You have any rum on this?" It's like the
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. No, no
Yeah.
rum in here. But yeah, so that just the attention we got walking around the park was really, really over the top. It's hard to explain, but I've never been in a situation like that in my life ever, where you got that much attention for your costumes. So it was fun.
Yeah, that is super fun. I do remember you saying one of the times that you went that they were kind of like, can this be brought in? Is this like okay? And they had to kind of ask somebody else or something like, is the
Yes,
stroller allowed or
yes.
something like that? Because it was, yeah, like you said, so big. And now they're so strict about stroller dimensions that I'm sure they were kind of like, huh, okay, is this legit? Which is funny. But yeah, we'll have to put up a picture. We'll have to have you guys find a picture to post so that we can post one of the
Oh, we got one.
costumes
Yeah,
and
I have one. I'll get one to you. Yeah.
that would be awesome. I'm sure people want to see it. So, to kind of go into some details about the party and some unique offerings that they have during the party, we obviously talked about the fireworks, the parade, the stage show, some things that I feel like have grown a lot in popularity and have changed since we used to go a lot are the unique food offerings. They have a lot of party only available during the party food and treat things that are for purchase, but some really cool ones that sound neat. So, kind of wanted to run through the list and hear, Dad, which ones you want to try. I've kind of highlighted some that I want to try, but they have different salty options, different sweet options. So I'll kind of run through the list here real quick. But the Main Street Bakery offers two different things specific for the party. A Mickey-shaped cheesecake that is pumpkin cheesecake with graham cracker crust. And then a Mickey-shaped cinnamon roll, which of course is right up our alley, with white icing, Halloween sprinkles. And then the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor has a pumpkin sundae, which has like pumpkin gelato with pumpkin spice caramel sauce. Casey's Corner does more of the savory stuff. They've got this Chipotle barbecue roast and street corn French fries that are topped with a special corn and different options for like street corn hot dog. They also do this Chipotle barbecue pork mini corn dogs and this candy corn verine, which is like layered salted caramel ganache with marshmallow. And then the Golden Oak Outpost does a Cajun crawfish and sausage poutine, which is waffle fries topped with these Cajun crawfish, gravy, and cheese curds. There's beignets from Beyond, which are obviously a play on the Haunted Mansion and beignets. They're these light, sweet, and fluffy beignets that have different chocolate cookie crumbs with cookies and cream cheese dipping sauce. And that was new this year. The hot honey lemonade, it's like basically regular lemonade with hot honey and a chili lime rim. At Pecos Bill, they've got buzzard wings, grilled masa flatbread, pumpkin pie mini churros, which sound delicious. That was also new this year. And a chocolate caramel tart, which is this tart shell filled with ganache, caramel sauce, caramel cream, and Twix cookie bar pieces. I'm like, oh man, that sounds great. Sleepy Hollow Refreshments has a creepy kimchi corn dog, pumpkin spice funnel cake sundae, Madame Leota seance candle, which is like red velvet and cookies and cream mousse, a Jack Pop, which is basically a chocolate fudge brownie with marshmallow filling that looks like Jack Skellington, and a Sally Pop, which is a yellow cake with raspberry filling topped with a chocolate piece. The spring roll cart has a special spicy pork spring roll. Liberty Square Market has the Jack and Sally Pop as well as a magic potion slushie, and this sounds pretty cool. It's a Fanta blue raspberry slush with yuzu, and when you stir it, the color changes from blue to green. You kind of stir and it looks like you're stirring up this potion. One of my friends here, Katie, our travel agent who lives here in our neighborhood, that's also works as a travel advisor for Disney, her daughter got it and took a video of it. It was pretty cool. The Pinocchio Village House does a phantasmal fried pumpkin ravioli, undead garlic parmesan chicken strips, Captain Hook treasure whoopie pie, scary ghost slushy, which is blue raspberry slushy with marshmallow foam and a marshmallow ghost. That sounds great also. The Be Our Guest restaurant, I didn't realize they have a whole special menu just for the party, which I'm kind of surprised by that, but they have a whole special menu with different pumpkin offerings and like apple cider margaritas, Castle Fog, that's like a whole special drink, and then some different entrees that are only unique for the party. Cinderella's Royal Table also has a unique party menu, including like pumpkin cheesecake, a pumpkin margarita, different drinks that are specialty for the party only. The Friar's Nook also has special menu, and one thing that looks delicious there to try are the not so poison apple donuts, which are like apple cider donuts rolled in sugar and caramel sauce. I'm like, ugh, that was new this year. Storybook Treats, which is one of our favorite places to stop for snack. That's a little ice cream stand. They have an Ursula cone, which is wild berry soft serve with candy coral and citrus cotton candy and a black vanilla cone. That was new this year. The Cheshire Cafe has a mummy treat, which is basically their cat tail, but it's dipped in white instead. That looks like a mummy. Cosmic Rays has a couple of unique offerings, including a not a poisoned apple slushie, which is frozen apple cider topped with cinnamon whipped cream and sour gummy candy. It's non-alcoholic, sounds delicious. And then getting to the end here, Auntie Gravity's Galactic Goodies has a candy bowl sundae, which is salted caramel soft serve with a chocolate cone dip, Snickers bar pieces, Twix bar pieces, and M&Ms.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh, this sounds like dad right up dad's alley. Um, and then the lunching pad, the last place, they have a skull cake And that is like this banana cake filled with dulce de leche. That's new this year, and a ghoulish blue raspberry slushy, which is like this blue raspberry Fanta slushy with black vanilla drizzle. So
Mm.
lots of sweet options that you can buy. I mean, when we were younger, I don't remember them having this many unique offerings to buy during the party, do you?
No, but I think it's got to the point where some people go and they really enjoy getting a variety of those treats. I can't imagine that and all the candy and all the stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like complete overload. But there's a lot of people that I even have talked to over the years that say, "Oh yeah, we go there and we go check out all these really cool and the treats are really super cool if you see them. It's
Oh
and
yeah.
they're not cheap, but
Yeah.
you spent $200 to go to the party, you don't care. Go keep
Yeah.
spending, right? Keep it going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's become a thing, and they just keep expanding it every year. But that's some list. I never would have dreamed it would have been anywhere near that many different offerings.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I definitely didn't even list every single thing, but definitely some of the new things and things that I thought sounded good. I mean, any of those slushies, any kind of slushie is right up my alley. The candy, the candy dessert ice cream platter there sounds crazy. The candy bowl sundae, I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds so good. The pumpkin donuts, but yeah, that definitely is a newer thing. I mean, even when we just went in March, that was one of my favorite things was we didn't really eat a lunch, we kind of just snacked and we each took a bite of something or a sip of something and got to try all these different unique treats. So during the party, I mean, it's hard to like make time to like go to all these places and try even one thing off of a couple of these menus would take a lot of time and stuff too, but it's definitely a neat change and some of them do look really good. So, yeah, it's interesting. The character meet and greets this year included a lot of repeat people from years prior, and like we talked about earlier, some of the characters do have costumes on, which is super fun. So the characters that have costumes are Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, Piglet, and Tigger. This was one of my favorite meet and greets. The line can get long, but they're so cute, kind of right outside the ride where those storybook pages are, where they often do the meet and greet during the day as well. And they are adorable. Stitch is often dressed up as Elvis, and so he is often seen around Tomorrowland in his Elvis costume, across from like the Monsters Inc. laugh floor where his ride used to be. Mickey and Minnie Mouse in the Town Square Theater have their special costumes. And then to the other, characters that we see that have not changed too much over the years. Alice and the Mad Hatter, they've pretty much always been there outside of that attraction. The Queen of Hearts, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Ariel and Eric are over at the Prince Eric's castle courtyard near the meet and greet where they usually are. The last time we went, Eric was not with Ariel, so that might be newer. Belle and Gaston are usually over near Maurice's cottage and Gaston's tavern. That's another favorite picture that I have from this last time that we went. Lady Tremaine, Anastasia, and Gisela are often by Cinderella Fountain. Mirabelle and Bruno, who are obviously newer characters from Encanto, they're over in Fairy Tale Garden, where they often are during the day too. Aladdin and Abu, Jasmine and the Genie, those are all kind of right near Magic Carpets in the Agrabah Bazaar. Captain Jack Sparrow is oftentimes out and about near the Pirates ride. And then Jack Skellington and Sally are very popular. This is one that I don't really understand the hype around this movie so much. I know Tim Burton is really big for some people, and this movie is like huge amongst the Disney community. But this line for this meet and greet is often way higher than Mickey and Minnie and is often like 2 hours of your party ticket that you're standing in line to
Wow.
meet this character, which I remember somebody that I know from here, one of the doctors that I work with, her son was obsessed with him and she went and stood in that line while they went and did stuff. And then he came and met him and Sally, and it was like a huge deal. But it's not really my thing. The movie is whatever to me, but yeah, I know a lot of people are very into it, but be prepared to wait. Pluto is often in Toontown or New Fantasyland, whatever they call it now. Daisy Duck and Goofy are also usually over there. And then in Frontierland lately, they've had the country bears kind of roaming around over there too, which has been that way for years. Are there any character meet and greets that you kind of remember doing? I'm sure y'all did Jack Sparrow at some point. Did you in your costumes or no?
Oh yes, and yeah, we had a little good interaction with him. We were kind of like his pirate crew kind of thing, and he joked around
Yeah.
about that. But we didn't spend a whole lot of time with that. I know there's some people that go to the park. They don't even bother going on rides. They're there just to get pictures with all these characters. That's they might get some treats and snacks, maybe see the parade, but they're not there for the rides. They're there to get these pictures and autographs and see these characters that are sometimes only out once a year at these parties.
Yeah.
And so, and these are grown adults, like they're not
Yeah.
just kids, right? And that's great. And then, the kids and all of us, right? So they do that. But yeah, I always thought it was neat to see people like the Queen of Hearts. Even though the
Hmm.
Alice in Wonderland movie, I remember watching part of that the other day. I haven't seen that in years. I'm going, wow, what were they smoking on
I
that
know.
movie? And it's just, and I realized that there was somebody wrote that book, turn of the century back in the day, right? And they made it their own movie or whatever. But wow, that was just really out there.
Trippy.
Um, yeah, very trippy. I was like, I don't need to see that one again. But yeah, so I've enjoyed seeing. Of course, I love seeing Jack Sparrow. I love to see Jack Sparrow in the parade. He was always in the parade the last, I don't know, many years I've been going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just neat to see characters you typically don't see. Whether I have to go get their autograph or something, no. Do I have to get their picture with them? Probably not. But some people they live for that, and it's fun to watch that. They want to stand in line for 2 hours. Hey, all the power to them.
Yeah, yeah. And that's some of the lines aren't so bad. I remember when we met Bella and Gaston, we barely waited. It's like people don't even go all the way back there, I guess. Like some of the more areas that are in the back and it's dark and you might not know that there's anything going on back there. But yeah, there's definitely ones that are super popular. We loved Belle and Gaston. We loved Winnie the Pooh. Those are probably our favorites. We've never taken the time in the last few years to do Mickey and Minnie, which would be super cool, but just waiting so long, it's just not a high priority for us. And the kids, as much as they love them, they want to be doing the rides and getting the candy. I mean, that's like almost a bigger deal, which is
Sure.
funny. So, is there any character that's missing from this list that you would want to see out, or that would be like a cool meet for you that isn't on there?
Oh, that's a good question. It would. I know they have Buzz Lightyear, but it'd be kind of neat if they had like Woody walking around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something. I guess they don't. I guess they wouldn't be probably in the Magic Kingdom though, would they? They'd probably be over at the studios.
Well,
I don't know
they've
how that would
had
play out.
Buzz, I mean, obviously with Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin being over there, they definitely
Right.
could. I mean, they've like mixed in so many different parks at this point. It's like, whatever. But it'd be so cute if they were dressed up. That would be
Oh
so
yeah,
cute.
I think that'd be a real popular one because that'd be something something very new, and then it's a popular series. I think they're coming out with another Toy Story movie, aren't they soon?
Yep, in June.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Number five.
Hopefully they've or be better than the last one I saw. But
I
um,
know.
anyway, yeah, so I thought something like that, some character from one of the Toy Story movies that we just don't see very much. I thought Woody would be kind of neat to have walking around or do a meet and greet.
That would be super cool. I do think it'd be cool if they had more villains as I mean they have got like Lady Tremaine, they've got Gaston, Queen of Hearts is a pretty cool unique one too, but it would be cool if they had like Hades or, Jafar is out sometimes during the day too, but maybe more unique ones that you don't see as often. That would be kind of neat. Ursula as a meet and greet could be really cool. So just something a little bit different that kind of goes along with the villains theme. I also wish that they would do something with like the hitchhiking ghost or something as a meet and greet. That would be super cool too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And they already have them in the parade or,
Right.
it was another picture I found. I'll have to pull it up here so I can show you real quick on the camera and I'll post it on the page at some point when this episode releases, but is a picture of Maddie and I, the first party that he went to where we were dressed as Alfalfa and Darla, another one that's like half the people didn't know what I was, but they could tell what he was. And we have a picture with one of the like grave digging ghosts from the haunted mansion. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool picture. It was such a throwback. I'll have to find it so I can show you. I thought I just saved it yesterday. But yeah, it was really funny. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this picture in years and it's been so long." But that was really cool. I wish they had more like stops like that. And I think we just saw him walking and kind of like, we're like, hey, get a picture real quick. And he kept going. It wasn't like a meet and greet thing that I remember doing. But yeah, that would be a cool little more Haunted Mansion themed meet and greet type thing. So what would you change about Mickey's Not So Scary other than the price? Because obviously we would make it cheaper if we could.
Limit the number of tickets sold.
Yeah.
I think they used to do that. I think they used to do that. They did that back in the day. I really believe it because when we went in the early 2000s and then we went in 2019, obviously it was a lot more money. I didn't have any problem with that. But because if you limited the number of people, the experience would be so much better and you'd be willing to pay that money and not feel bad about it. But when you still have to wait in line for 10, 15, 20 minutes to get on a ride and the treat lines are so long, you can't get through the treat lines
Yeah.
and find a good place for the parade because there's so many people. They just oversell it. I think they've oversold it now for probably like the last 10 years. And I think it's a real mistake. Disney's done a lot of things recently, as we all know, that the parks are pretty quiet lately. they they got to get their act together. So yeah, I would do something about limiting the number of people to a certain number that would guarantee that you could get on rides in 5 to 10 minutes. You could find a place to see the parade and the fireworks, not feel like you're getting run over by everybody. I think that would be a big win for them.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny you say that because literally today they just announced price increases for tickets for Disneyland and Walt Disney World for annual passes and parking and all these things. And people are losing their minds. I mean, it's crazy. It's so it'll be interesting to see, especially as they change hands of leadership here in the next year, because I think Bob Iger
Right.
is almost done. I don't know that they'd decrease at this point, but if they'd stay more the same for a few years without doing these huge increases.
Yes,
But
right.
yeah, but definitely overselling. It's true. It's way more crowded than it used to be. Even the last time we went, we waited 40 minutes for Mine Train, which is a long time for during a party. But the girls wanted to go, and so we waited. But yeah, Regan and I talked about this last year. It's like when you don't have the ability to buy Lane because you shouldn't have to because you're at this after hours event, um, you should be able to have less than 20 minutes or less waits, at least for most attractions. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. And now that they're not doing virtual queue for Tron, the last time we went to the party, they did have virtual queue for Tron still, so we could at least go do other things. And they called us, and then we went, and it was our time to ride the ride. We pretty much, I think we waited like 10 minutes. It wasn't bad at all. But I'm sure that line gets like crazy even on a party night. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of changes they might make in the future. This is that picture.
Oh, awesome. I remember that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's like 2008 or 2009. I can't remember. I'll have to look up what year that was. Must be 2008. So the overlays for rides at Mickey's Not So Scary are pretty non-existent for Halloween. Over at Disneyland, they do a little bit more of that. Like the Haunted Mansion becomes the Nightmare Before Christmas, which I don't necessarily love, but they do, I mean, like have a little bit more of overlay things. Do you have any ideas of what could be done differently with overlays to make the rides unique? Like right now, all they really do is on Mad Tea Party, they make the lights like purple and orange. On Space Mountain, it's totally dark. That's really all they do as far as like overlays. Is there anything that you can think of that might make a cool overlay or kind of make an attraction into something that's a little bit more Halloweeny for during the party?
I think a lot. I think the easiest thing would to do for some of the attractions, like maybe it's Space Mountain or spinning teacups or whatever it might be, is just change the soundtrack out to Halloween type music, maybe Halloween type Disney music or whatever it would be.
Yeah,
Um, Nightmare before Christmas or Haunted Mansion. They got all kinds of things they could pull from. Um, yeah, something like that, where it's just real easy to do, just change out the soundtrack. So a lot of times the music is such a part of being there, and have that. They change the track on Main Street when you're walking in. It's awesome. If they could
yeah,
do that on some of the attractions, they don't have to come up with a whole bunch of stuff. There's really not all that much you can do with some of these attractions. But if they could change the music up on some of them Halloween theme music, I think that would be a real plus.
Yeah, I agree. The music could be a big one. I also think that they could do something simple like how they do the Jingle Cruise for Jungle Cruise, but like put little, I don't know, the Winnie the Pooh animatronics in a costume when you're riding on the ride or something just for like, even just for the month of October. It doesn't have to be like, August, September, October, or maybe just September and October, something like that. Maybe on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, have the characters look like they're like dressed up as something, like even something very simple that I think could go a long way for people because people love the Jingle Cruise, which is funny. It's like they change up the jokes a little bit. They change up the decor is a little bit more Christmassy. They've got the presents out there and the Santa hats on animals and stuff, and people love it. So I'm like, it does not have to be super complicated, but I agree, music is another great way to do that. So a couple of rapid fire questions before we wrap up here and get into our Would You Rather. What is your favorite Disney Halloween movie? Is it Hocus Pocus or is it Haunted Mansion or neither?
I did like to some degree the original Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy. I know
Yeah.
it was coming out not too far away from Pirates of the Caribbean, and we know what pirates did.
Yeah.
And I never thought Haunted Mansion, the backstory would ever hold up anyway. You could only go so far with that story, right? Where pirates, you could kind of go on and on and on.
Yeah.
And they did it well. Love that movie. Um, but to be honest, I kind of like Hocus Pocus probably better than the Haunted Mansion movie. That sounds crazy because Haunted Mansion is my favorite attraction. I think the Hocus Pocus movie was just very well done. And I like the idea with the trick or treating and all the stuff, and just the way it was done. I just thought it was, Bette Midler and the different actresses there. Um, let's face it, they did a great job. It was a very, I think it's a very well done movie, and and they have a whole stage show now at the Magic Kingdom on Mickey's Not So Scary in front of the castle, right? So it's popular
Oh
and
yeah.
very well attended, and uh, has been out for what a number, probably 30 years now. It's been out for a number of years. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it hit its 30-year anniversary.
yeah. There's some other Disney Halloween type things probably, but movies. But I think that one for me would probably be my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that's one that it's funny, I don't remember watching that much as a kid. It's a little creepy. Like it gets a little, I mean, she's talking about sucking the souls out of children and singing to the children, come little children. But now I
Sure.
really like it. And I think for whatever reason, it's had a huge resurgence in the last like 10, 15 years where it got very popular again. The parks have really capitalized on that. The cruise line even has like Halloween on the High Seas cruise where they have Clarabelle, Daisy, and Minnie dressed up like the Sanderson sisters and really fun stuff. So it's definitely come back around. That's a good one. My favorite, this is hard. It's either, I've got to say, Under Wraps. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you seen that movie?
Does that have something to do with a mummy?
Yes.
I think I might have, but I don't remember. But I remember it being something about a mummy. That's all I remember.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Next year for Halloween as a nostalgic nights, we're gonna watch. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But I love that one. That's probably my favorite Halloween movie. Tower of Terror is up there, but I also watch that even when it's not Halloween. So, but that is another good one. Tower of Terror with Kirsten Dunst and Steve Guttenberg, and filmed a lot of it outside of the attraction in
Right.
Orlando. I love that movie too. So both the original Under Wraps, because they've remade it since then, of course they have, and it's not as good. But and then the Tower of Terror, which I wish they'd do like they could do a remake of that, a show of that. I don't know. I mean, I guess you have Twilight Zone, but that was a cool concept too. So who would you rather trick or treat with, Hades or Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog?
Oh gosh. Uh, could I say neither? No.
Yeah.
Well, they're both pretty bad news.
Yeah.
Um, I would say probably I'll say Hades, but I hate to say that because that's like kind of
Saying the
crazy. But
devil.
yeah,
I'm gonna say Dr. Facilier only just to be different. Would you rather have a candy corn or a caramel apple?
I'm not a big. I love the apple flavor, but I'm not a big fruit guy. I know that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Um, So caramel apples never did it. I probably licked the caramel off it because I like
Yeah,
caramel and chocolate. Definitely have to be candy corn, even though you can only have so many candy corns before you're like sick to your stomach because it's just like
that's true.
eating pure sugar, right? But I definitely have to go with candy corn.
Okay. And then last question, which Disney character would throw the best Halloween party?
Which Disney character would throw the best Halloween party?
Yeah.
And what am I selecting from far as characters? Just ones that are like Mickey and Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and all that, or
Whatever you want.
whatever Disney character
Mm-hmm.
would throw the best Halloween party. And this is pretty random, but it is a Disney character. I would have to say the Ghost Host, the
Okay,
Haunted
I was gonna
Mansion.
say Master Gracie, so that's
Yeah,
pretty similar
yeah,
answer.
yeah. I'd say pretty much the same thing, right?
I mean, who wouldn't want to go to the Haunted Mansion for Halloween? That's pretty sweet.
That would be awesome.
Okay, cool. So our Would You Rather question this year, I asked for some spooky recommendations, and so we got a recommendation from our friend Sarah via email. So she asked, next year, would you rather attend Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Oogie Boogie Bash, which is the one at Disney California Adventure?
Well, I haven't been out to Disney California Adventure or Disneyland in 50 some years. So probably the Oogie Boogie Bash would probably be just to check it out. I don't know that much about that, but that sounds like fun. That's their Halloween event, I assume. So sounds
Yeah.
like fun. Yeah, I would say probably have to pick that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. I have a hard time choosing because I love Mickey's Not So Scary so much, but it would be cool to see something different and kind of see how they do things over in Disneyland. I know Regan was out there at Halloween time a couple years ago, but didn't get to do the party. He just did obviously the regular day because they weren't there for very long. I think they were only
Mhm.
there a couple days, but yeah, it would be cool to see. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully, you guys got some good information about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party so you can decide next year which one you would rather go to. And we are looking forward to kind of getting into the next season, which is obviously coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and talking about some fun things related to that, and also getting into our next Parks of the Future episode here in a couple of weeks. We've got some fun stuff coming up. So, keep a lookout for all the good things that are to come. And if you would like to be featured on our Would You Rather section, please send us any of your suggested questions and we can definitely get into those. We're working our way through our list. We still have quite a few from the giveaway and from people that have submitted. So thank you guys for everyone who has done that. But that is it for now. We will see y'all next week.
See you next week.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Soarin Around WDW Pod, where we share fun reels, throwback photos, and dive into our old versus new debates. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. And for our Spotify listeners, a follow and a 5-star review would mean the world. If you're listening on Apple, hit that 5-star button and leave us a written review as well. Thanks again for joining us. See you next time.